We've currently got a special offer live now on poodlecfb.com for the launch of College Football 26. Use code KICKOFF, all caps, for $50 off the annual plan, or code KICKOFF 2025 for $5 off the monthly plan. You'll unlock exclusive spreadsheets, in-depth info, and our members-only Discord. Join hundreds of members in the fastest-growing CFB 26 community out there. Don't miss out and sign up now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Poodle back with another CFB 26 video, and in today's video, I'm going to go over the top 10 recruiting mistakes that you need to avoid in Dynasty mode. Now, before we get into the video, guys, we've been absolutely killing it over on poodlecfb.com. If you haven't signed up already, you definitely don't want to miss out on this deal and what's going on over there. The first week of CFB has been absolutely crazy. We are breaking things left and right, figuring out new tactics, new methods, going over pipelines, strength, data testing, and everything to perfect not only your Dynasty choice, but all the decisions you make in your Dynasty. So make sure to check it out below. If you use code KICKOFF, all caps, you get $50 off the annual plan. Use code KICKOFF 2025, all caps, you get $5 off the monthly plan. And the best part, like I always say, your grandfathered in. It's a recurring membership. So not only do you get a great deal now, you have a great deal for your longevity and your time over on the website. So make sure to check it out, guys. Be a part of the Discord chat, be a part of everything we're doing live, have direct access to me, directly at me for questions, which is happening all day. What pipeline to choose? What should I do? Should I cut this guide, this code package? As well as all the tools that are coming. Our CFB Ultimate Guide 2.0 for this year will be coming in August. We have a lot of tools already on there, like our coach build calculator, our master spreadsheet that has thousands of lines of everything you could ever need to analyze a team and know what to do in Dynasty mode, as well as all of our new features that we'll be rolling out over the next few weeks, plus we already have. You can at me all day. I get back pretty quick and have a team of members who do the same thing. So make sure to check it out, guys. But let's get into the video. So one of the biggest ones that you need to avoid, especially in the first few seasons while you're trying to get elite recruiter and get your roster going, and people are still kind of figuring it out, don't have many packages yet, is you want to be avoiding going for wants over efficiency. Not wants over needs, wants over efficiency. Let me tell you what that looks like. So a want when recruiting is going to 5 stars, like we did last year when we could do wants because we're later in the year, is going to 5 stars and just adding all of these guys on there. You don't want to do that in the first few seasons. That's the first part. A want is also this. I want a 5-star quarterback. So I go in here and we happen to be first on these guys, ironically. We happen to be first. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. We can go for 2. But going for 2 of these guys could be a little tough. The odds of us winning both of these aren't exactly the highest. But let's go to another position where we don't have 2 already that we happen to be in first for, a running back, an elusive bruiser. We are off his board. It is in the open stage with 0 interest. A want is seeing this guy and being like, yeah, I want him. I'm going to try to get on this board. That's a want. Don't do that. A want being in the 7th, 8th, 6th spot, being off the board a lot and going for them, like a 5th spot guy right here. That's a want because it's going to be hard to come over, as you guys see, let me get rid of the webcam here, Penn State, Bama, Ohio State, and Clemson. That's going to be very tough to beat all of them out without any extra recruiting points. Remember, you do start with 50 this year. You start with 50. It's especially if you're starting with a custom coach. It's not going to be easy. So make sure you're going for efficiency. What does efficiency look like? Efficiency looks like this. Going to 5-star prospects, sorting by interest, and knowing that these are the guys that you're going to compete for. Up until about here. Unless you're going against this one, which is Cincinnati, TCU, and Michigan. I see a world where I win this one. But going forward, any team that you look like you're after that, like 5th, 6th, 7th, and you're going against elite, like blue blood schools, don't do it. Take your wins. Take your easy wins, because guess what? Other people are going to be inefficient and going after everyone, so they're gonna go after 10 5-stars, the blue blood schools. You're going to have 10 5-stars, that 2 are first on their board, and a bunch are 7th, 6th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and they're going to only end up with the 2 guys in first, or maybe end up getting flipped on one of those guys and only get the 1 guy in first. So they're going to end up with 1 5-star and likely 6 4-stars. If you do this method, you will likely end up with at least 3 of these guys, plus maybe 1 of these guys. You end up with 4 5-stars, and if you do the same thing for 4-star prospects, where you filter by first, and you get all the guys that are easily going to come to your school, you filter out some of the bust maybe if you want. I wouldn't recommend it early on. You're going to end up with a lot of these guys. You're going to end up with a class of 3 to 4 5-stars and about 10 to 15 4-stars, and likely end up in the top 5 for the first season, and that is huge for getting elite recruiter. This next one's really important, and I've been telling you guys, that's why I say motivator, recruiter, interchangeable year 1. Just get them both done. Getting recruiter filled out on tier 1 in the first season is so important. You want to have tier 1. Quarterbacks take less time to fully scout. Running backs, advanced look is what it's called. You want advanced look on everything but kicker and punter. You want all of these done, because in season 1, the reason I say you don't have to start with it is because in season 1, this doesn't help you. Because you start with, unless you start with your 100 points, that's very different. But it looks like a lot of leagues are turning off the pre-order bonus. But for me, doing the scouting thing, if you don't have your 100 points right off rip, is going to be tough. So if you don't have your 100 points, you're not going to have the scouting. It's going to be tough because season 1, all your coordinators aren't built up yet potentially. You don't have all your scouting done. It's going to be tough. And year 1, I'm not all in on going after guys I absolutely want. Like I said, I'm going after guys who are efficient. So I don't care much to scout as much year 1, maybe year 2, but by year 1, you want it done. So going forward into year 2 and 3, you can then start scouting efficiently. Otherwise, it costs about 50 points. So you definitely want to bring your points down with getting this package. Super important. Just make sure you keep this on your radar. Don't leave that to last, because scouting is very, very expensive, and you absolutely need this package to bring it down. This next one's a little iffy depending on who you are and how you play in your league, but save some points for CEO. Like, when you look at the ideal coach builder, you probably mapped out your build, how you're gonna do it. Look at some of the things that you would be okay without. So let's say you look through this and you're like, okay, I love all these things, but maybe I'd be okay without 1 tier of elite recruiter, which if you're going elite recruiter, you want the last tier. Maybe you go to talent developer, or maybe you're planning to do tactician in your build, and you're like, I love tactician, but maybe I could drop tier 4 in all of them and save up an extra 50 to 100 points. Save some points for CEO. If you're a guy that could potentially win a natty, you're a guy who does win natties, you're in an offline league and you could force the natty, or you're in a league that's iffy and you're always there and you can see a world where you win them, save some points, because nothing's going to be worse than ending up winning 2 natties by like year 6 or 7, and now you have CEO available to you and you spent all your points, especially if you start with like a current coach that is already level 80 and like you're near the end, and you used all your points, but now you can't do anything in CEO, and you could have unlocked lasting impression, gains getter, more the merrier, dream school. Save a little bit, what I'm going to call like a piggy bank of like 50 to 100 points first to unlock CEO, 35 for the unlock, and then the 50 to 100 to get a few packages there too. So make sure you do save some points for CEO, especially if you think you have that route. If you're a guy that hasn't won in a decade, you've never won in your league, you just play for fun, you come close maybe here and there, but you never finish the deal, winning 2 is unlikely, you don't have to save any points, but it definitely, you don't want to be the guy that gets it unlocked and can't spend it in. This next one, especially for CFP26, is so important. Stop recruiting outside of your proximity, especially now. You can bully people once you have elite recruiter unlocked, or if you're doing the motivator tier 1 method, you can bully people. But if you're legitimately trying to play this and you don't have any big recruiting packages yet in elite recruiter, don't recruit outside your pipeline. I see, again, same thing for being inefficient. Texas is nearby. This is going to be likely a 10 point or 15 point visit for us, and it's based on their proximity to home. Proximity to home here as well. This is Louisiana. Proximity to home is an A+. It's going to be a 10 point visit. This next one, which I want to say is Maryland. Sorry if I'm wrong about that. This one's going to be far, even though you're a 3-star pipeline. It's going to cost you more for the proximity visit. I maybe don't go on this guy because I want those cheap visits, because the first few seasons is all about efficiency. I want to be doing 10 point visits. I want to be having easy pipeline bonuses. I want to be having easy chances to win, high interest. So although they're high interest, I'm still iffy because that visit won't be expensive. So it will be expensive. I'll likely keep him on my board and just see where I land. Maybe I end up being so far at first with this guy that it doesn't matter. But if there's a team closer to this, like maybe Penn State, who can get a 10 point visit on you, they're going to blow you out once they get that visit on it. Because you don't want to be wasting 40 points on one visit when you could be doing 10, 20, 30, 40. And so on and so forth. California is likely like a 15 or 20. That one's solid. Georgia is likely a 15 or a 20, maybe even a 10. And just so on and so forth. So just make sure you're not recruiting too far out of pipeline. And you can do that by sometimes filtering by pipeline tiers, because they'll likely show you guys some of the far ones. Teams like Florida will be kind of far for them. Missouri's not bad, although they're out of pipeline, but you still will get the boost for the proximity cheap discount. But make sure you're not going too far out of proximity, at least in the first few seasons. The first few seasons is about bringing in a lot of talent, resetting your roster, and getting elite recruiter unlocked, getting all your packages unlocked that you need to unlock. And that's all about efficiency and bringing in the right guys, especially because other people are going to be doing stupid stuff. The next one's going to be when making your coach, choosing the right pipeline. So for me, I usually choose one of their blue or their yellow pipelines. Now, there are some things here to this, right? So if Metro Atlanta is what Brian Kelly has here. Metro Atlanta for them is a blue pipeline. So that does bring them up. That brings them up a tier, right? So if you take like a 4-star pipeline or a 4-tier pipeline, you go up to a 5, a 3, you go up to a 4, 2, go up to 1. If you take a 0, you go up to a 1. Now, again, we're going to do program builder later, and we're going to cap these all out to 5, 4s, and 3s. So you can take one like the Big Apple, and you have a 0 and bring it up to a 1, and then do program builder and try to get it up to like a 2 or 3, maybe a 4. You can try that route. But honestly, I'm sticking with these close ones. I want to get them up early, because if I wait till I have program builder in a few years to get it, especially with a custom coach, I'm not going to get much use out of that 1-star pipeline for a while. If I just upgrade Metro Atlanta or East Texas to a 5, I'm getting a lot more interest from recruits, because that gives me 2 purple pipelines for LSU, Louisiana, and East Texas or Metro Atlanta. So make sure you check the right pipeline. I see some people who are like, hey, I picked LSU and I gave them should I give them the South Florida pipeline? No, because first, you're only going to get a 1-star pipeline out of that, which isn't going to give you much. And then you're going to have to compete against Florida, Florida State, and Miami, who's going to blow you out of the water in their own state, especially locally with the 10-point visits. Or you can try to compete with them, and this is all early on. Once you have elite recruiter, again, do what you want, but it's going to be tough, especially spending 40-point visits there when you could just be securing your homegrown talent. Next one's going to be over-recruiting one position. You guys have to be able to cut down your board. I can't tell you how often this happens, and it happens to me. I'm a victim of this, but I correct it I correct it very quickly. So this is what my board will look like. Okay, I want to try those 2 5-star quarterback. It's quarterback, so you got to get that position. I end up looking like, my board ends up looking like this, and I end up going, I scout them. I end up liking like 4 of them, and I'm like, well, what if I don't win the other one? What if I don't win the other one? And I end up with 5 on offering scholarships and points to, 5 at a position that only plays 1 guy. I should be doing that at O-line, D-line, secondary, linebacker. I'm doing that at quarterback. Be so careful about over scouting and over recruiting one position. It can hurt you so badly if you end up scouting 15 quarterbacks to find the one, and now you're low on scouting points for the rest of your roster. This is a game where with manual progression, you eventually will get, you can make someone pretty good regardless. Just get the intangibles, find a guy who's mostly good. I like to bring in like, maybe I'll recruit for like 2 quarterbacks, but don't fight for 4 or 5 unless you absolutely need a quarterback. And this happens a lot. That's also why it's very problematic. Don't start with offense. Start with your defense first, because with offense, you'll bring in 15 quarterbacks, 10 running backs, 12 wide receivers, and then you have to find those. And once you get that board down, you're like, awesome, I found the 4 wide receivers I want, the 3 running backs I want, the 2 quarterbacks, and you're like, wait, that's already too high. Let me pause, I'll go to defense. Now you're out of scouting points or very low on it or out of hours. And then you got to go drop those guys. Be very careful about over recruiting. Also, because if you do follow through bringing in 4 quarterbacks, that's great. But deal breakers are going to be a problem, especially playing time. You're going to end up cutting them, and you're going to start to see yourself lag behind other positions, especially O-line that needs like 5 guys across the line plus depth. D-line, 4 guys across the line plus depth, and so on and so forth, even situational type players. So be very careful with that. These next 2 go in tandem, so count this as 1 and 2. The first one's going to be choosing your team. When choosing your team, taking a look at your coordinators. So over on poodlecfp.com, we have our master spreadsheet that has thousands of lines that show every coordinator, every ability, every team setup, every package they have, every active perk. So that's very helpful. If you don't have that, just log in and choose the team that you're looking at and look at it one by one. It's a little time consuming. That's why I recommend the website. But if you don't have that, it's another way to do it. Looking at coordinators is so important because it helps you with your first few seasons. You can't can these guys in the first season. You have to let the season end. So you're stuck with whatever you choose basically for the first season. So if you, let's say you go a team that has double master motivator, understand that that's where you're rocking. So maybe you want to start as motivator head coach and get that up so you can at least compound those boosts. But vice versa, if you start with a school with double elite recruiter, there's a world where they end up leaving you in a year or 2. So you want to compound those. And you want to furthermore understand, like, do you want to go that route? Let's say you love LSU, but you love a second team kind of. LSU's your top team. This seems like your 1B, but it's not 1A, right? LSU's your 1A. But team 2 has double elite recruiters, and LSU only has maybe, was it 1? No, right? No, they have 1. They have 1 elite recruiter, but that's it. The other team has 2. So you're like, wait, well, I love LSU. If I start with that other team with double elite recruiter and I dominate the first 2 seasons and I get my 2 classes and I unlock elite recruiter for myself, then I'm ahead of LSU and I don't got to play around on that one. And that's a better ceiling for me than the earlier floor of LSU. You have to make those decisions. If you're going to be a talent developer, or you want to start as a big school strategist type or a low school strategist type, and you take a head coach or a coordinators that come with strategists, it's such an advantage. Because also with all these new coaching customizations and all these new packages and all these new variables for coordinators, it's going to be harder to find exactly what you want in the carousel versus last year where it was like they were recruiters or they were motivators and you ignore the tacticians. Now those hybrid ones are in there. So it may get a little bit trickier. Like these guys are all over the place. Strategist, tactician, and recruiter. You weren't seeing things like this much last year. So you may want to make a choice, not around it solely, but definitely keep it into consideration when looking at the long-term effects of how this will benefit your dynasty. And the second one, which ties into this, is look at what coordinators you have and what they do once you do have your team. So for me as LSU, I have 1 elite recruiter. What do I notice? LSU is elite at recruiting quarterbacks. So what I'm doing year 1 with LSU is I'm going to capitalize on those quarterbacks for 2 reasons. 1, LSU needs another quarterback. Garrett's gone very quickly in this game. And the guy Johnson can run but couldn't hit a garbage can from 5 feet away. So I need a quarterback. So for me, I'm going to go right on those 5 stars knowing that I could probably out-recruit most teams with LSU and elite recruiter. And I'm going to make sure I lock up those 5-star quarterbacks. That might be a situation where I over-recruit because then you're going to lock everyone else out of getting their new quarterbacks for year 1. And that's very great. And I appreciate that I can do that and they have this. So I'm going to know that I can over-scout quarterbacks and I can over-recruit quarterbacks and I got to be careful elsewhere. And then I'm going to go through and look at a few other things they have. This guy is strategist. What does he have unlocked? Tier 3, lower deal breakers for linebackers and for DBs. So I'm going to be less careful during the season to not break one of their deal breakers because I know I have that. I'm going to make sure to do complimentary visits with defensive backers and linebackers this season. I'm going to make it a point to be like, oh, I got to schedule linebackers together because I have complimentary visit boosts for that. I'm going to make sure if I'm in a week where I have only 4 visit options and I have 2 linebackers on the board, 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, and a wide receiver, who's getting the visits? I'm giving it to the linebacker prospects and the DB prospects as they have visit bonuses and complimentary visit bonuses. It is an ideal package to do this. Also understanding, I can't do two cornerbacks at the same time because it'll negate each other. So I'm going to put the D lineman with the cornerback, and then next week put the other cornerback with the other D lineman and get double complimentary visits, double visit bonuses. And it's just a great way to take advantage of what you have. Definitely know what you're dealing with season 1. And if you take a current coach, know what Brian Kelly has in Program Builder. Understand everything he has already. They'll pay dividends for you in dominating those first 2 seasons and setting yourself up for long-term success. Now we're gonna close these out with 2 pretty obvious ones, but a lot of new players to the game. A lot of people may have forgotten. Different game, right? 1, always send your max hours. If you've been watching me, you know that. I've been seeing comments already. That's why I'm saying this. I'm seeing comments, people saying, wait, instead of sending 50, what if I just send a DM and like a text instead for 5? And I do that across the board and I can recruit 35 guys. No, don't do that. You're going to lose every single recruit, unless you're going against guys who don't have hands. You're going to lose every single recruit. They might actually still out recruit you without actually placing an action. Place your full 50, or if you have elite recruiter, place your full 60, 75, 80, whatever it is you have. Place your max hours at all time. It's better to go all in on 12 guys than partially in on 18, because you will partially lose 18 of them. Kind of like my thing about being efficient. If you go after all those 5 stars who really aren't on your board, or you aren't on their board, yeah, you're going for 10 5 stars, but you may only close 1. I'm going to go for 5 that are safer, and I'm going to close 3. And I'm going to convert at like a 60% clip versus your 10% clip. And that's going to go a long way in maximizing my class. Because think about it this way. You do that, you don't put your max hours, then you're scrambling to grab all these leftover trashy players, and now your whole recruiting class is killed. Don't do that. And finally, guys, always apply visits before week 5. I know we only have 50 hours now, so visits, like, battles may end at week 6 now, maybe at week 7. Stop. If you're new to this game, do not send visits after week 5. Make sure to always get your visits in between week 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 at the least. You maybe do a 6 if you can visibly see that like it's week 3 and this guy's not going to close for a while. Fine, do a week 6 one, but don't schedule. I see people schedule visits for week 9. If that's, I know you're going to say that's my only open week. Well, guess what? You better win without that visit. And if you see that you're going against, if you're third place on a recruit, and you see that 2 guys ahead of you have a visit, and you can only do a visit week 9, back out of that player. You're probably losing that player. And that's just going to be some self-awareness and understanding that if you don't place your visit before week 5, you don't have to, because that's still 10 points or 40 if you're doing it the wrong way. And it's still 40 points. You could just be recruiting a whole nother player for full 40. Make sure to be careful in doing that, guys. But that's it. That wraps up my 10 best recruiting tips for these first 2 weeks of this game. I will make some updated videos as I do discover more things about this game. Hopefully this helps a mix of new players, a mix of old players who are still learning the new tactics of this game. And guys, if you enjoyed, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and check out poodlecfp.com. It makes a lot of these things so much easier and really puts you ahead of all your competition. Use code KICKOFF, all caps, for $50 off the annual plan, and code KICKOFF 2025 for $5 off the monthly plan. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out. Peace.